Loves. So, as an empowerment and sexuality coach, one of the main focuses when I work with my clients is supporting them to heal and release both physical and emotional pain. And of course, those are connected because if we're in emotional pain, that can show up and manifest physically as well. And also to support them to move into more juicy pleasure during sex, during self pleasure, and also in their lives overall. And this is a process. There are always more layers of this journey away from pain and healing pain and into pleasure. But there are also some really simple embodiment practices that we can do and start doing now to start healing pain and feeling more pleasure. And so I wanted to do this short training. Today I'm going to be talking about 4 simple practices for healing pain and bringing more pleasure into our sex lives and our lives overall. So, I'm going to explain these 4 tools and how they can be used to heal pain and bring in more pleasure. And then I'll guide you through a simple embodiment practice that will bring in all 4 so you can start to experience them right now. So, the 4 tools that we're going to be talking about today are focus, breath, movement, and sound. So the first one is focus. It's really super helpful for releasing pain and bringing in more pleasure. So when it comes to healing pain, a lot of times when we're in pain, whether it's emotional or physical pain, what we've been taught to do and what our tendency to do in our society is to ignore this pain, to shut it down, to pretend it's not happening, or to use substances or other things to kind of distract ourselves and numb that pain. And so, usually, as you may have noticed, this doesn't really work long term. It can maybe suppress it, but then it comes back over time. And so, when it comes to feeling pain, there's a saying that goes, you need to feel it to heal it. And this is so true. So, when it comes to having pain, it's really important to take a moment and actually allow yourself to focus on that pain and just notice whether it's physical or emotional. How does it feel? What kind of sensations does it bring up in the body when we actually acknowledge it? And just this acknowledgement alone can be super powerful. The same as if we have a baby and the baby is crying, the baby needs attention. So if we take a moment and check in with that baby and give it love or ask it what it needs, maybe it needs food or a change, and let that happen, then the baby is going to be happy. Whereas if we put the baby in the closet, it's not going to stop crying. And over time, it's just going to get more and more upset. So the first step with focusing on the pain is just to acknowledge it. And then, secondly, what's really, really super powerful in healing is to bring acceptance to that pain. So, acknowledging it and then accepting it as well. And a lot of times when we feel into acceptance, there can be this thing of, oh, if I accept it, it's going to be like that forever. And that's not necessarily the case, but just allowing that, sitting with that part of ourselves that feels the pain and really allowing it to be in that moment can be so, so powerful. And it can really start to show us that even though we have these feelings of pain, we can work through them and we can be with them. So, focusing on and accepting is so helpful for healing pain. And then when it comes to pleasure, focus is so important as well. So, a lot of the time, I talk to my clients about the fact that they tend to be kind of in their heads during sex. So if we're having sex and we're spending the whole time thinking about, like, oh, how does my body look in this position? Or what am I going to make for dinner later? Or whatever the case may be, we're not fully present. And so when we can, whether we're self-pleasuring or we're having sex with a partner, simply redirecting our attention over and over to the pleasure can be so, so powerful and really start to enhance that pleasure. So, next time you're having sex and you notice, like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of in my head, my mind is all over the place, taking a moment to consciously feel into what am I feeling in my body right now? And really starting to name and focus in on those sensations is so helpful. So, the next tool that we're going to talk about is breath, and this is one of my favorite ones. Because we're breathing constantly. So there's so much potential to work with the breath in so many different ways. And a lot of times that potential is untapped because we're just going about our day. And when we're stressed and we have a lot going on, our breath tends to get very, very shallow. A lot of times we're hunched over, we're not taking full breaths. We can have tension that's held in our stomach and in our shoulders. And so letting that breath flow through can be so fucking helpful for allowing ourselves to release pain and also move into more pleasure as well. So, once going back to the focus for a moment, once we've found the areas where we have this pain or this tension or emotional pain, which also shows up in the body, we can start to send breath to these areas. And what the breath does is it's so powerful for releasing old tension, stagnant energy, trauma, limiting beliefs, all of these things that are held in the body. And so, breathing into those areas where we feel pain and just visualizing and feeling new energy being brought into those areas. And then on the exhale, just visualizing and allowing the release of anything that's ready to release from your body, anything that's not serving you anymore. And on the inhale, you can also visualize breathing in any qualities that you desire to bring in more of. So, love, flow, pleasure, whatever the case may be. When it comes to pleasure, there's so many different ways that we can use the breath to enhance our pleasure. So while we're having sex, again, once we've noticed these sensations and we're focusing on them, and let's say we're feeling a lot of pleasure building in our pussy, and so feeling that pleasure, really focusing on it, and then visualizing breathing as if you could breathe right into that area of pleasure. And as you breathe in, really visualizing that pleasure beginning to expand with the breath. And then as you exhale, you can visualize that pleasure beginning to move through your whole body. So, breath is really, really beautiful for expanding the pleasure that we already feel. And then as you begin to connect with your sexual energy and really start to feel that pleasure, which you can do through focus, then you can begin to invite that pleasure to move through your body with the breath. So, breathing in and feeling that pleasure expanding, and then breathing out and feeling it flowing through. And this is really one of the first steps to full body energetic orgasms as well. The next tool that we're going to talk about is movement. And for so many of us, we're sitting at our desk all day, we're laying down all night, obviously. And so we have a lot of time that we're just sitting around sedentary. And a lot of times we have so much stuck energy in our body, so much trauma, so much wounding from the past. Let's say you're having an argument with someone and you want to say something, but you just don't. You want to speak up and set a boundary and you don't do it. All of that energy and all of that desire for that energy to flow actually starts to stick in the body and can create pain and numbness and tension and manifest in these really physical ways. And so, really allowing our body to just move. Our bodies are so fucking wise. They have innate wisdom on how to heal and how to move through these things of the past. And so, even just taking a few minutes for gentle movement every day is so incredibly helpful. So, if I'm sitting at my computer and I'm working and I'm starting to feel really tense, or I have an experience where I have anxiety that's come up, even just doing some gentle movement, moving the shoulders, shaking it out, doing a little bit of jumping or a little bit of dancing. I love to do dancing personally. That can really start to allow that movement to flow through. And of course, you can probably see how this would work really well with breath as well. So as you're breathing, really allowing that movement to flow through the body. And then when it comes to using movement for more pleasure, when it comes to having sex, a lot of times we can get kind of stuck in the same routine when it comes to sex. So having the same positions over and over, having sex in the same places in the house, and really kind of having these ideas of what sex is supposed to look like. So, oh, okay, like I get on top of you and I move like this, and then this happens next. And this can be based on porn that we've watched, it can be based on our past experiences and kind of, oh, this felt good before, so I'm going to do it again. And while that there's nothing wrong with that per se, it can really limit the immediacy and the spontaneity of the moment. And so, whether you're self pleasuring or whether you're with a partner, and actually, this can be really beautiful to start doing during self pleasure just so that you can experiment with it on your own. Try doing it in a different position than you've done it before, or really feeling into how your body wants to move. So maybe your hips want to move in a different way that you haven't tried before. Or maybe you want to start by doing some foreplay with your partner or yourself that includes just dancing and doing some contact improv and just letting your body move. And it really starts to allow that sensual and sexual energy to flow through the body in ways that are so delicious and exciting. Then the last tool that we're going to talk about is sound. So, sound is one of the most potent practices for releasing old stagnant energy and old trauma and all of those things that can be held in the body. It's so powerful to let out sound and let the energy release through this. But sound is also one of the most taboo tools and practices for so many people. So, from the time that we're young, a lot of times we're taught, like, sit down and shut up. When we have emotions and we're a child and we're having a temper tantrum, our parents are like, shh, 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 don't cry, don't make noise. And so it's gotten to the point where by the time that we grow into adults, so often it's like, oh, sound is weird unless it's like a very specific type of sound in a specific situation. And so sound is so, so powerful for releasing emotions and releasing anything that can be stuck in our body. And so, again, this is really, really beautiful and powerful when used with the breath. So, feeling into the pain that can be stuck in our body, or if we're feeling tense or we're feeling sad, whatever the case may be, breathing in and then just letting out the breath with a sigh or a sound of any kind. And a lot of times when I talk to my clients about this at first, they're like, that sounds really, really awkward. I'm not going to do that. And especially, if they're like, oh, I live with a roommate, my roommate would be like, what the fuck are you doing? You're crazy. And I totally understand that. It actually took me a long time to where I was able to let the sounds flow naturally from my body as well. And so that's why I always say it doesn't have to be a loud sound. It doesn't have to sound any particular way. And really, the idea is more the intention behind it. So if you are someone who's just getting started with this, or you have roommates and you don't want to make a lot of sound, I mean, I say, why not invite them in and you can do it together? But if you're just starting out, you can start with a very, very gentle, simple sound. So you can just breathe in and let it out with a sigh. Or you can even breathe in and let it out with a hum. Or even just putting on your favorite song if you're sad or if you're angry and singing along to the lyrics. Even that's a really good way to get started using this for releasing pain and stagnant energy. And then when it comes to using sound for pleasure, this is really fun as well. But it's, again, one of those things where when we watch porn or we've been with partners in the past, we really get this idea of like, this is what kind of sounds are acceptable during sex. I can do like a moan here, I can do a sigh here, and there's nothing wrong with those sounds at all, especially if they are your authentic expression. But there's such a wide variety of sounds that can be expressed during sex. And again, this is one of those things that you can start during self-pleasure. And let's say you're touching yourself and it's starting to feel really good. Again, using that breath and breathing into the sensations and then feeling if this sensation could express through a sound, what would that be? And maybe it's a growl, maybe it's like a high pitched sound. It could really be absolutely anything. And one last thing that I'll say about that is another thing that I've noticed for myself and talked to others about is also like sometimes there's this um, kind of internal pressure to make sound during sex. And there's nothing wrong with just simply being silent during sex as well. So sometimes there's pressure to make sound at all or a certain type of sound. And it's really going back into that authentic expression and what feels good to me right now. So, those are the four tools and how they can be used for releasing pain and increasing pleasure. And I'm going to guide you through a simple embodiment practice. It'll just be about 5 minutes long. And one thing that I'll just say before we get started is the key with all of these tools is that there's not a right or a wrong way to do them. It's really so much more about authentic expression and allowing your body to express itself, hence the name embodiment tools. And so often we're in our heads and we're thinking about how things should look. And this is just really an opportunity to let all of that go and just fucking enjoy. So, for this practice, I'll invite you, if it feels good, you can close your eyes and you can do this practice sitting or lying down, whatever feels good. Finding a place that's comfortable for you right now. And just beginning by taking a few deep, gentle breaths and just allowing yourself to drop deeper into your body, starting to bring the focus to your breath. Letting your breaths be a little bit deeper and a little bit more full than they normally are. Starting to notice what kind of sensations are alive in your body right now. What are you feeling? And trying not to label your sensations as good or bad, just noticing them. And seeing if you can bring in a little bit of that acceptance that we talked about before. So, whatever you feel, just simply seeing if you can allow yourself to be okay with whatever is present right now. Now, I'll invite you to scan your body and really notice what sensations are the most alive right now. And this could be a sensation that's a little bit more challenging to feel. So maybe it's tension, maybe it's pain, maybe you're feeling really emotional. And if so, noticing what sensations that emotion is evoking in your body. Or this could be a sensation that feels really pleasurable. So it could feel like flow in a part of your body, like tingling or expansion. And so just allowing yourself to pick one sensation in your body and beginning to focus on that sensation. Really noticing the different qualities of it. And again, not making it right or wrong, good or bad. Just seeing if you can be with that sensation in this moment. Noticing that however intense it is, that you can simply allow it to be part of your experience. And if this is very challenging, that's okay. If it's hard to feel into your sensations, that's fine as well. Knowing that this is a process and a practice, and again, there's no right or wrong way, simply an exploration that will be different each and every time. So feeling that sensation, and when you're ready, beginning to breathe deeply. And sending those deep, full breaths as if you could breathe right in and out of this part of your body with the sensation that you're focusing on right now. Breathing in fully. Breathing out to the end of the breath. And on the inhale, visualizing that you could drop your focus and your experience in this moment into this part of your body and the sensations there. So feeling as though you could almost become this part of your body and the sensations that you're experiencing there. Breathing in, dropping into this part of yourself, exhaling out fully, and then beginning to feel as though this part of your body and the sensations there could begin to express through your body. So, feeling if there's a posture that your body wants to take. Maybe it wants to get real small, maybe it wants to expand and let your arms stretch. But breathing and beginning to see what kind of movement wants to come into your body. And seeing if you can let the breath be the thing that moves you. So breathing in and just noticing what your body wants to do. Breathing out, letting it flow. And really letting your body begin to take over. It can be small movements, gentle movements. It could be slow or fast, but really letting the breath move your body. And as you breathe into this part of yourself now, seeing if this part of yourself could make a sound, what sound would that be? And again, you can start with a gentle sigh or a gentle hum. Breathing in and really listening to your body. Letting that sound out to whatever extent is doable and possible for yourself right now. As you continue to move, as you continue to breathe fully, and as you continue to stay focused on this part of your body, knowing that breathing and moving and letting sound out in this way is letting energy move through your body in whatever way is needed right now. So breathing into this sensation, exhaling out to the end of the breath. And now as you breathe in, seeing if there's any qualities that you want to invite in from the universe, from your higher self, from the divine, whatever resonates with you. Seeing what you would like to invite in right now. It could be pleasure, it could be energy, empowerment, confidence. Breathing in these qualities, healing, whatever feels good. And then on the exhale, breathing out to the end of the breath and setting the intention to release anything that is not serving you, any stagnant energy, any limiting beliefs, anything that is no longer needed in your body, and taking just a few more moments here to fully breathe in, to fully let your body express, seeing if you can drop in just a little bit deeper and allowing yourself to fully express, play, move, make sound, anything that still wants to happen in your body. Maybe shaking it out a little bit. And coming in your own time to stillness, to silence, and taking just a moment to sit and just feel this part of your body, feel the sensations there. Noticing if anything has changed, anything has shifted, or maybe it feels the same. And again, seeing if you can meet what's there with love and acceptance. Noticing how your whole body feels after this practice. And whatever your experience has been, making it right. And when you feel ready, gently opening your eyes and coming back to this moment. This is a really beautiful and powerful way to move energy, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. And make sure, if you can, to take a little bit of time after this for integration, just being gentle with yourself, drinking a lot of water to facilitate the movement and flow of energy and old toxic bullshit that we're telling to fuck off. And so, if you enjoyed this practice, I'd love to hear your experience. You're more than welcome to reach out to me on social media. If you have any questions or anything that you'd like to share at any time, let me know. And I'm sending you so much love today and across all time and throughout your healing journey.